This is recording for the Paper 5 higher tier non-calculator paper for June 2024. There is a link to this past paper in the description. You might want to download it and have a go at some of the questions and then watch my solutions after. Question 1, work out 1.2 divided by 0.03. Okay, without a calculator, I like to look at it as a fraction because divide is the same as put in, like writing a fraction. This also means 1.2 divided by 0.03. And then I like to think, well, don't want any decimals as the denominator. So I'm going to multiply this by 100, which means I have to multiply this by 100, which gives us 120 over 3. And 120 divided by 3 is 40. Question 2, Kai has these 4 number cards. Kai takes 2 of the cards at random without replacement and finds a positive difference between the 2 numbers. Complete the table to show all the possible differences. So as you can see, this number 9 is from 9, the difference between 9 and 0. 9 take away 0 is 9. So here we need the difference between 9 and 2, which is 7. Here, the difference between 9 and 5, which is 4. Here, the difference between 9 and 5, which is 4. Difference between 9 and 2 is 7. Difference between 5 and 2 is 3. We've got these diagonal line blanked out because if you pick out a 0, it is not putting it back, it's without replacements. We can't pick out another 0, which is why those are blanked out. Find the probability that Kai takes 2 cards with a difference that is an even number or a factor of 10. I'm just going to highlight all my even numbers first. Or a factor of 10. So what are my factors of 10? 1, 10, 2 and 5. So we've got 6 out of 12. Or you could have written half of that and the equivalent fraction to 6 over 12. Ryan makes a journey of 200 miles from his home to the coast. 1/10 of the journey is on roads with a speed limit of 40 miles per hour. 40% of the journey is on roads with a speed limit of 50 miles per hour. The remainder of the journey takes 1 hour, 30 minutes. Ryan leaves home at 8:50, does not exceed the speed limits on the journey. Find the earliest time that Ryan could arrive at the coast. Right, so 1/10 of the journey is at 40 miles per hour. What's 1/10 of 200? Well, that's exactly the same as saying 200 divided by 10, which is 20. So 20 miles. He's going at 40 miles per hour. We want to work out the time taken, don't we? So speed, distance, time. Speed equals distance over time. If I rearrange this formula, times both sides by time to get st, speed times time is distance. Then I can divide both sides by speed. Time equals distance over speed. So time equals distance over speed. 20 over 40 is 2 over 4, which is 1 over 2, which is 0.5. Because it's miles per hour, it's 0.5 hours. Okay, let's look at the next part of the journey. 40% of the journey is on roads. What's 40% of 200 miles? 10% is 20. 40%, we just need to times this by 4, 80. So 80 miles at 50 miles per hour. Again, we'll do a similar calculation. We know time is distance over speed. What is 80 divided by 50 then? I'm going to simplify that fraction to give us 8 over 5. Okay, there's a few different ways of doing this. I'm going to do the bus stop method. We're divided by 5, so 5 goes outside the bus stop. 5 into 8 is 1. Remainder 3. 5 into 30 is 6. So it's 1.6 hours. We'll convert with hours and minutes after. Let's just find out all the hours first. Okay, the remainder of the journey. So we've done 20 miles and 80 miles, which is 100 miles. So from his 200 miles, we've got 100 miles left. Oh, we've got the time, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Okay, right. So 1.6 add 0.5 is 2.1 hours. So what is that in hours and minutes? 2.1 times 60. Convert hours to minutes with times in it by 60. You could just times the 0.1 by 60, but I'm going to times 2.1 by 60 now. This is the same as 2.1 times 6 times 10. 2.1 times 10 is 21, so it's the same as 21 times 6. 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 6 is 12, so it's 126 minutes, which is 2 hours, 6 minutes. So add that onto 1 hour, 30 minutes, so altogether we have 3 hours and 36 minutes. So if we start off at 8:50, we're going to use 10 minutes of this to get to 9. So we've got 3 hours, 26 minutes left. 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 26. Write down an assumption you have made when working the answer to part A. So something along the lines of, he is travelling, he drives at the speed limit and does not drive slower or is delayed. There's a lot of things you could put for this. There are no traffic lights, no roundabouts, that kind of thing. Does not get stuck in traffic. Okay, scattergraph. Okay, shows the test scores for 20 pupils in science and maths. Describe the type of correlation shown in the diagram. Correlation is positive. Because as science results increases, as the science test scores increases in the maths. One pupil took the science test but was then ill during the maths test and had to leave early. On the scatter diagram, circle the point that is most likely to represent this pupil. Right, it's this one here, because it's a very low math score, which suggests the person started it, couldn't finish it. By drawing a line of best fit, estimate the test score in mathematics for people who scored 28 in science. We need to draw our line of best fit first, so we need a ruler. Your line of best fit does not have to start at 0, 0. That's the first mistake people make. So it needs to be a line that shows the general kind of direction of all your points, and needs to be about half of your points on each side, approximately. So using my line of best fit, scored 28 in science, so 25, 26, 27, so every one on here does represent one. So let's just read up to my line of best fit. So my answer would be 29. Yours may be slightly different. Explain why using the scatter diagram to estimate the test score in mathematics for people who scored 60 may be unreliable. It's outside the data range. You see the data really only goes up to science here, 49. So I'm going to put out of data range. Find the percentage of the 20 pupils who scored less than 30 marks in both science and mathematics. So here we've got 30 for maths and 30 for science. Less than, so not including this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 out of 20 as a fraction. For a percentage, we need to make our denominator out of 100 times 5 times 5, which gives you 35 out of 100, which is 35%. Okay, so we've got a loci question here, which is kind of difficult to do because I don't have a compass on my tablet. I can show you how to do this. I'm going to have to just describe it as best I can. So we're using a ruler and compass only. Construct and shade the region which is closer to AB than AC. So we've got this. So we've got this line AB and we've got this line AC. We want to construct a line between those two to show exactly the all the points that are in the middle. So really want an angle bisector. So what you need to do is put your compass point here, open up your compass and just draw an arc. It doesn't really matter how far you open up your compass. Do not change the length of your compass after that. So then put your compass point here and draw another arc with your compass, which will be around here. Do the same thing from this point. Always, always leaving your compass open at the same point. And you then join up the point A with where your arcs meet. Shade the region which is closer to AB than AC, this region here. Question 6. A bronze ornament has a volume of 198. The density is 8.9. By rounding each value, correct one significant figure, work out an estimate for the mass of the bronze ornament. So let's round everything to one significant figure first. The first significant figure is in your hundreds. You would round up this to the nearest 100, which is 200. You'd round this to the nearest one significant figure. The first significant figure is 8, so you'd round it to 9. Density equals mass over volume. Our density is 9. Our volume is 200. So times both sides by 200 to get the mass. 9 times 2 is 18. Add your zeros, 1,800 grams. Bottle contains 1 3/4 litres of cordial. To make orange squash, 1 part of this cordial is mixed with 7 parts of water. Cups that can hold 1/6 of a litre are completely filled with squash. Work out the maximum number of cups that can be filled from the bottle of cordial. You must show you're working out. I suppose you could approach this in a few different ways. I am going to put that as a improper fraction. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7, so you've got 7/4 litres of cordial. I'm going to times this by 7 because to make the orange squash, we've got that much cordial. It's in the ratio 1 to 7, right? So I'm going to multiply the cordial by 7 to get how much water you'd need. Okay, how do you multiply by 7? I put a 1 on the bottom. 7 is the same as 7 over 1. Multiply the top, multiply the bottom. add those together to work out how much orange squash I need in total. Okay, this is the denominators are the same, so you can just add the numerators, leave the denominator the same. 56 divided by 4, halve it to divide by 2, which is 28, halve it again, which is 14. So we have 14 litres of orange squash. The cups hold 1/6, so I'm going to need to do 14 divided by 1/6. How do I do that? Well, let's change 14 into a fraction. When we divide, we keep flip change. Multiply the top, multiply the bottom. 14 times 6. Well, 10 times 6 is 60. 4 times 6 is 24. So it's 84 over 1, which is just 84. That's the final answer. 84 cups. Y is directly proportional to x, which means y is k times x. So with direct proportionality, if one variable increases, the other variable increases by the same amount. By k. K has to be the same amount, if that makes sense. Write down the percentage increase when in y when x is increased by 100%. So if something's increased by 100%, it's doubled. So it's like saying y equals 2x, which would mean y is doubled, which also would be an increase of 100%. Inverse proportionality means that as one variable increases, the other decreases. So if x were to increase by 100%, z a decrease by half. If one of them double, the other is halved. So it'd be 50%. The following kinematics formula may be used in this question. V equals u plus at, v squared equals u squared plus 2as. A particle has an initial velocity of 0 meters per second. Initial velocity is u. Particle accelerates uniformly at 3 meters per second. So that's a for a time for 4 seconds, which is t. Find the distance travelled by the particle in the 4 seconds. So we've got u, a, and t, so we can actually work out v, the velocity. So v equals u, which is 0 plus at. So v equals 12. Okay, so we can now substitute these values into this formula. V is 12, so 12 squared equals, well, u squared, u is 0, 0 squared is 0. 2 times a, which is 3, times s, which is distance, which is what we're working out, unknown. So 144 equals 6 times s. Divide both sides by 6 to get s. 144 divided by 6. 6 into 1 is 0, carry the 1. 6 into 14 is 2, carry the 2. 6 into 24 is 4. So s is 24. The diagram shows an equilateral triangle and a rectangle. The equilateral triangle has the same perimeter as the rectangle. Okay, so let's get the perimeter for each one. 14 times 3 is 42 centimetres. Don't need to write that on. Perimeter for the rectangle is a plus a, add a plus 5, add a plus 5. That all simplifies to 4a plus 10. So we know 4a plus 10 is equal to 42. We solve this equation to find a by subtracting 10 off both sides, dividing both sides by 4, which gives a is 8. Question 11. Write a as a column vector. So we're starting here at the beginning of the line in this direction to the end of the line. So we go 1, 2, 3 left, so minus 3 at the top. and 1 up, so 1 at the bottom. Write down a column vector that is different in direction but that has the same length as vector A. So I might just think about if it's got a different direction, if we flip this arrow here, we'd have 3, -1. On the grid below, draw the vector A minus 2B. Sorry, A minus B. So A is -3, 1. And we're subtracting B. What's the column vector for B? Well, if 2B is this whole line here, B would be half of this line, so from here to here. So it'd be 0, -2. -3, take away 0 is -3. 1 minus -2 is 3. So A minus B, start it down here, is 3 to the left and 3 up. So need an arrow on it. So here's my vector A minus B. Question 12a, Sasha invests £1,000 at a rate of 5% per year compound interest. Sasha says, after 1 year my investment will get £50 in interest and will be worth £1,050. Therefore, after 2 years, my investment will get another £50 in interest and be worth £1,100. Is Sasha correct? No. Why is she not correct? Well, yes, after the first year it will be £1,050. But then it would be 5% of 1,050 to add on. So it's not, the amount changes every year because you're adding on the interest every year. So for the second year, 10% of 1,050 is 105. Half of 105 is £52.50. So that would be the amount of interest she gets for the second year. So we can write something along the lines of the value of the interest changes each year as the amount grows. Sasha buys a car. The value V of the car after n years is given by the formula. This formula here. The graph shows some information about the value of the car. I find the value of A and the value of B. Well, after 0 years, the value is 8,000, so we know A's got to be 8,000, right? Because we could reason it like this. 0 years is b to the power 0. Anything to the power 0 is 1. So b to the power 0 is 1. 8,000 times 1. Sorry, I just, yeah. You could have done it like this, but that's me telling you it's 8,000. So the value of the car, we know V is a value, is 8,000. B to the power 0 is 1. 8 times 1 is 8. A is 8,000. And the value of B, well, we also know here we can substitute these values in. After 1 year, it's worth 6,400. So 6,400 equals 8,000. Because we know A is 8,000 times B to the power 1. Okay, how do we make B the subject here? We need to divide both sides by 8,000. We need to work that out without a calculator. We can cancel these zeros by dividing by 100. So now we have 64 divided by 80. I'm going to simplify that first. It's the same as 32 out of 40. We can divide both of those, the numerator and denominator, by 8. 32 divided by 8 is 4. 40 divided by 8 is 5. 4/5 is the same as 8/10. 8 divided by 10 is 0.8, so B is equal to 0.8. Solve the inequality. Got a quadratic inequality here, so just bear in mind when you've got a quadratic inequality, we need to use a graph at our final stage. But first of all, I'm going to put it equal to 0. Difference of 2 squares. We've got a difference of 2 squares. X is minus 10, or x equals 10. If I sketch that on a graph now, positive quadratic graph. So I'm interested in when this graph is bigger than or equal to 0. So it's above the x-axis. So it's these values, these answers, and these answers. What x values produce these answers? X bigger than or equal to 10. And what values of x produce these answers? X less than or equal to negative 10. Here are the first 4 terms of sequence. Find the nth term. I'm going to get the nth term of the numerator first. The numerator sequence is 2, 4, 6, 8. It is just a linear sequence. It's just 2n, right? Because it's like 2 times table. Let's look at this denominator. Look at the sequence of the denominator. So 5, 9, 13, and 17. Okay, oh, this is a nice linear sequence as well. It's going up in 4s. So it's 4m. We've got the 4 times table underneath. Plus 1. So the nth term of this sequence is 2n over 4n plus 1. Question 15. Expand and simplify. You just need to choose any 2 brackets to expand first and then multiply it by the third. X times 4x, 4x squared. X times 1, x. 3 times 4x, 12x. 3 times 1, 3. Let me just simplify that. 4x squared plus 13x plus 3. And I'm now going to multiply it by x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply all of these by x first. We've got 4x cubed from x times 4x squared plus 13x squared plus 3x. Now I'm going to times everything by negative 2. So I've got negative 8x squared, negative 2 times 13, negative 26x, negative 2 times positive 3, negative 6. So we've got 4x cubed. Let's simplify the x squared. 13x squared minus 8x squared is 5x squared. Then we've got 3x minus 26x is negative 23x minus 6. Final answer. Question 16. 2 prisms are mathematically similar. The ratio of the volume of prism A to the volume of prism B is 8 to 27. Height of prism A is 6 centimetres. Work out the height of prism B. Similar shapes. Got volume to volume, so we can find the scale factor. So 27 divided by 8. Eights into 30, so it's my remainder 3 there. 8 into 30 is 3, remainder 6, 8's into 60, 7, remainder 4, 8's into 40, 5. Okay, now I'm thinking that's really awkward to cube root. And I'm just looking at these, they're cube numbers. So a better way of doing that might be like this. So here's my thought process. I do not know what the cube root of 3.375 is. Can't work that out without a calculator. Let's just do the cube root of 27 over 8, which is the same as the cube root of 27 divided by the cube root of 8. Cube root of 27 is 3. Cube root of 8 is 2, so it's 1.5. That's nicer. So the 27 over 8 is the volume scale factor. The length scale factor is 1.5. That's the scale factor for length. So the height prism A is 6. All I need to do now is 6 times 1.5 to get the height of prism B. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times a half is 3, which gives you a total. The diagram shows a number line. We've got P, which is at 1.2 recurring. We have Q, which is at 1 2/3. Q is the midpoint of PR. Find the value of R. I'm just going to return this recurring decimal into a fraction first. So I'm just going to subtract the 1. X is 0.2 recurring. Times them by 10. Subtract 9x is equal to 2. X is equal to 2/9. So this is the same as 1 2/9. Okay, so we have 11/9 and 5/3. I'm just going to subtract these to find the distance between P and Q. So I'm going to multiply the denominator and numerator by 3. So we've got 15/9 minus 11/9, which is 4/9. So the distance between P and Q is 4/9. And seeing as Q is the midpoint between P and R, the distance here must be 4/9. So let's just do 1 2/3, which is 5/3 plus 4/9. Again, we need to make the denominators the same, so I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. So we've got 15/9 plus 4/9, 19/9. Give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. So 9 into 18 is 2, 1 remaining. So 2 1/9 is the value of R. Question 18. We have a sphere of radius x centimetres, a cone is radius r centimetres and height 2r. The volume of the sphere is equal to the volume of the cone. Write r in terms of x. So we're given the volume for a sphere. We know the radius is x, so it's 4/3 pi x cubed, just replacing the r for the x. So that's the radius. And I'm going to put equal to the volume of the cone, which is 1/3 pi, right, r squared. The radius of the cone is r, so I'm just going to write capital R squared, and I'm going to times that by the height, which is 2r. Okay, so what can I do first of all? I'm going to divide both sides by pi. I'm also going to times both sides by 3, which gets rid of the 3's here. So I've got 4x cubed is equal to 2r times r squared is r 2r cubed, because r squared times r is r cubed. We want to write r in terms of x, or making r the subject here. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, which gives us 2x cubed is equal to capital R cubed. And then I'm just going to cube root both sides, which gives you cube root of 2x cubed is equal to r. Final answer. Okay, 19a. Describe fully the single transformation that is equivalent to a rotation of 20 degrees anti-clockwise about the origin, followed by a rotation of 70 degrees. Right, okay, let's just kind of sketch what's going on here. We've got an x-axis and a y-axis. Okay, so I'm just going to imagine a point, let's say here. We're turning from 0 from the origin. So if you moved 20 degrees anti-clockwise, turned, not moved, turned from the origin, like, so imagine it's almost like this. So you turn in 20 degrees anti-clockwise and then 70 degrees clockwise. So it would be 20, 50. So you point and end up over here somewhere. So what would be the single transformation? Well, I've ended up here. So it would be from this yellow dot to this yellow dot. It would be a rotation. .50 degrees clockwise. Centre the origin, or 0, 0. Diagram shows the coordinates of the vertices of a rectangle. The rectangle is reflected in the line y is equal to 4. Right, y is equal to 4. Well, this is the coordinate point 1, 1. This is the coordinate point 1, 4 up here. So I know y equals 4 would be a straight line. Just do that a bit better. I'll draw a straight line here and just move it along. So that is the mirror line, y is equal to 4. So the rectangle is reflected in the line y equals 4. Write down the coordinates of the vertices of the rectangle that are invariant. Okay, so invariant means points or lines that remain unchanged. So if this rectangle is reflected in that purple line, it would look like this. Which points would remain unchanged? So 1, 4, the vertices, it's asking for vertices or corners, and 5, 4. Question 20. The shape below is part of a circle. Centre 0, radius 12. Work out the perimeter of the shape. So we want the perimeter of the shape AB all around the circle. So to get the curve, 2 pi r is the circumference of a circle, right? But it is arc. We haven't got the full circle. It's the arc we need. So arc length, theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Don't know the angle, this theta. Guessing we can work it out from here. Okay, let's have a look. So we know this is an isosceles triangle because we've got a radii and a radii, so this would be 30 degrees. So, okay, 180 angles in a triangle add up to 180. So we've got 180, take away 30, take away 30 is 120. We also know that angles around a point add up to 360. So 360 minus 120 gives us this angle here is 240. Okay, so we know that yellow arc there is theta over 360 times 2 times pi. Not sure why I gave that capital R. Times the radius, which is 12. Okay, so how do we do this with our calculator? Let's simplify the fraction by dividing by 10. Then we can divide by 6, which gives us, we can divide by 12. Divide the numerator and denominator by 12, you get 2 over 3. So it's 2/3. 2 times 12 is 24 times 24 pi. 2/3 times 24 is the same as saying 2/3 of 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So we've got 16 pi here for the arc length. Okay, now we need this length from A to B. So in your formula book, you should be looking at your sine and cosine rule because it's a non-right angled triangle. Or we could use, I'm just thinking it might be easier to split it into a right angled triangle here. So let me just take out that right angled triangle. We have 12, we have 30, we want the length here. So it's adjacent hypotenuse, so cos 30 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. We need exact trig values here. What's the cos of 30? So whichever way you use, I'm going to do a equilateral triangle. Sixty, 60, 60. All of them are 12. No, they're not. All of them are, sorry, for the exact trig triangle, all your lengths are 2. So let's split it here. And you might be able to just remember this, but I use exact trig triangles. 30, 2, 1. It's half of your 2 there. So the cos of 30 is equal to half. No, sine of 30 is a half. Right, so we need to work out this missing length here to get the adjacent. So we want Pythagoras, 2 squared minus 1 squared. 2 squared is 4. Gives us root 3. So cos of 30 is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cos of 30 is equal to root 3 over 2. So let's replace our cos 30 by root 3 over 2. Times both sides by 12. We've got 12 root 3 over 2 equals x. 12 over 2 is 6 root 3. So we know that this is 6 root 3 and this is 6 root 3, which is a total of 12 root 3. We've got 12 root 3 plus 16 pi, the total circumference of your shape. Okay, question 21. Work out the coordinates of the intersection of the graphs y equals 5 minus 2x and y equals 3x squared. So if I just sketch these graphs, here's my y equals 3x squared, and 5 minus 2x. I was looking for these points where they cross. How do we work that out? Well, we solve them simultaneously. So I've got y equals 3x squared. I know that y is equal to 5 minus 2x. So I'm just going to substitute that, replace the y with 5 minus 2x. 5 minus 2x equals 3x squared. Got a quadratic. I am going to bring everything over to the right hand side, and the left hand side is going to be 0, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides, and I'm going to subtract 5 to both sides. I'm going to solve this now. So I know it's 3x and an x. I know it's a plus and a minus, but I don't know which way round it goes. I'm going to have to do some guessing here. I know it's a 1 and a 5. I'm not sure which way round it goes, but I'm thinking the 5's going to go there, the 1's going to go there. Plus 5, I think that's going to work. Let's just check. 3x squared, that will give you minus 3x. That will give you 5x. Minus 3x plus 5x is 2x. Yeah, that works. Now we need to solve it. So x is equal to 1 here, or 3x plus 5 is equal to 1. Take 5 from both sides. And divide both sides by 3. No, what am I doing? If I put it equal to 1, sorry, equal to 0. Because we've got this bracket times this bracket is equal to 0. Right, sorry, take 5 from both sides. Divide both sides by 3. So my x is 1 or minus 5/3. Now we need to substitute that into one of the equations to find y. This is the easier equation. I put 1 into there. 5 minus 2 times 1. 5 minus 2, 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. And for this one here, we've got y equals 5 minus 2x. So y is 5 minus 2 times minus 5/3. 2 over 1 is the same as 2. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 1 times 3 is 3. So we've got 5 plus 10/3. I'm going to change that 10/3 into a mixed number fraction, which is 3 and a third. Which gives us 8 and 1/3. So when x is minus 5/3, y is 8 and a third. Question 22a, sketch the graph of y equals 8 to the power x. Okay, let's just think about some of our x values. Let's see, when x is 0, y is 8 to the power 0, which is 1. Now, what happens to the graph as it increases? Let's just think about this. If x is 1, 8 to the power 1 is 8. If x is 2, 8 squared is 64. If x is 3, 8 cubed, I'm not sure what that is, but I know it's a pretty big number. Let's just have a look at some of the negative values on the other side. So x is negative 1. 8 to the negative 1 is 1 over 8, so an 8, which is quite small here, 1/8. And then if 8 to the minus 2, 8 to the power minus 2, let's just put that onto there, would be 1 over 8 squared, 1 over 64, which would be teeny tiny. So what happens to your graph is never goes below 0, but it kind of approaches the x-axis and then kind of goes up like this. Let me draw that as a better curve. I'll try. Something, there you go, something like that. Okay, your graph of y equals cos x. You should really know this one by heart. Maximum 0.1, minimum point -1. Go up in 90s. So 90, 180, 270. The cos of 90 is 0. So it's like a curve like this. Okay, and question 23. In a survey, 50 people were asked which sports they watched. The results are shown in a Venn diagram. One person is chosen at random from those that watched athletics. So how many people watch athletics? It's all of this circle for athletics. We have 16 people. So that is 16. Find the probability this person watches only one sport. Okay, so let's just consider these numbers. So here they watch 2 sports, they watch 3 sports, they watch 1 sport. Oh, only 1 other sport, sorry. Okay, so they watch, those 6 athletes watch 1 sport, don't they? Okay. These 4 people watch athletics and one of the sports. Only one of the sports. They don't, because they watch 2 other sports, including athletics. No, they watch 2 other sports apart. So that person watches athletics, football and golf, which is athletics plus 2 other sports. These watch athletics and golf, which is athletics and one of the sports. So it's 4 out of 5, which is 9. So it's 9 out of 16. 2 of the people are chosen at random. Show the probability that one of them watches only. Sorry, 2 of the 50 people chosen at random. Show the probability that one of them watches only football and the other watches only golf is 2 over 35. Okay, so I want the probability of only football and only golf. And this is probability without replacement because I'm taking them both at the same time. So we've got the probability that the first person watches only football is 10 over 50. Now, and only golf, well, I've taken out one of those people, so it was out of 49. Only golf, 7 people is golf, so it can use 7 over 49. I could also have it the other way around, so I could have or probability watches only golf and then only football, which would be 7 over 50 times 10 over 49. Okay, so let's just work that out in the easiest way without a calculator. 10 times 7 is 70 for the numerator. 50 times 49, I'm going to work out 49 times 5 first. 9 times 5 is 45. 4 times 5 is 20. Add 4 is 24. And put my 0 on the end. If I add those together, I'm going to get 140 over 2,450. And hope this simplifies to 2 over 35. So what do we have here? Let's have a look. Well, I could have simplified these first, might have made it easier. Yeah, actually, I don't want to simplify this. What I'm going to do is, if I simplify 10/50, it'd be 1/5 times 7/49 would be 1/7, which should be 1/35, which would mean this would be 1/35. Oh, this is a much easier way of doing it. 1/35 and 1/35, 2/35. So I've shown it. And that's the end of the paper.